going to talk about the UAW and the right to work. The right to work law that was signed by the governor probably a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And that basically regulates it regulates the unions with the companies, where the unions can no longer force a worker to pay union dues, and that's called right to work. And at the time that the governor passed this law, I said, boy, we're in trouble. But a couple years later now, in 2016, I say to myself, that was a good move, because everybody in the state of Michigan, and any state for that matter, has a right to work. And they don't, or they shouldn't, have to be forced to pay union dues to these scammers. These are a bunch of scammers right here. You got Jimmy Settles, you got Bernie Rickey, and this guy here in the background, he's a scammer too. I forget his name. But Settles, he's a big scammer, and Bernie Rickey, this is the UAW CEO or president, and this is the vice president. And these guys are big scammers, okay? And so what I've been telling people is that after they have agreed to ship jobs over to Mexico with Bill Ford and Mark Fields, I'm sure all of you have heard about Ford moving all of its small cars to Mexico, and Mr. Donald Trump has also been talking about the $7 billion plant that our money paid for, okay, over in Mexico, that they're about ready to ship all them jobs to, okay? That's why these people are scammers, okay? They never give us nothing as UAW workers, and now that we have the right to work law in effect, you can refuse to pay union dues. That's right, you can refuse to pay union dues. So now what's the word I'm looking for? Now the ball is in our court, okay? It used to be that the membership had to rely on these crooks, okay, to make good deals for us with Ford or GM or Chrysler, okay? Now with the right to work laws, the membership itself, you, the worker, are basically able to negotiate your own contract. Okay, let me just rephrase that. Not negotiate your own contract, but by threatening them and saying, hey, look, if you're not going to get me anything, if you're not going to get me a raise, if you're not going to get me a new contract, if you're going to ship jobs over to Mexico, then if you're not going to bring in any new product, then I'm not going to pay union dues. Why would I pay you $55, $60 a month for something that I'm not getting? Okay? If you're not going to get me a raise, if you're not going to get me a bonus at the end of the year, if you're not going to get me a contract signing bonus, all those. By the way, Christmas bonuses and contract signing bonuses are two different things, and that's what I meant by that. If you're not going to give me a raise, if you're not going to give me a contract signing bonus substantial, if you're not going to give me a yearly Christmas bonus, then, look, then I'm not going to pay you union dues. Okay, I'm not going to pay you guys so that you guys can go to Vegas every year and have your shindigs, okay, and spend all of our money on hookers and prostitutes and, casinos and all that kind of shit that you guys do. Listen, if you're not going to get me something substantial, if you're not going to give me a good contract, if you're going to allow Ford to ship jobs over to Mexico, and we're going to lose all that business, we're going to lose all them cars, then I'm not going to vote for you, and I'm not going to pay union dues, and I'm going to opt out of paying union dues. Okay, it's called right to work. And here's the law right here. Let's get the definition of right to work. 26 states passed it. it gives an effort to give employees the right to work without being required or compelled to join a union. Okay. Right to work laws were reported in all U.S. states in regard to unemployment insurance hearings in which the employer was seeking to bar the employee from receiving these legal benefits after termination. Public policy exceptions have been devised by attorneys to seek to overturn the board or the broad and unannounced sweep of these laws in the United States. So, what I urge you to do is look up the word right to work law, find out what the law is in your state, and you got to decide whether or not you want to pay these 5 people right here. I forget what this guy's name is. This is Reginald Ransom right here. The second from the left, that's Reginald Ransom. He's a fucking idiot too. Okay, he is a scammer. Okay, but these two right here are the big scammers: Settles and Bernie Ricky. These guys operate out of Local 600 down in Dearborn, the UAW, and they're big scammers. All these people are just siphoning money from the membership. They're all living in lavish homes and nice cars. If I was to go out and investigate a couple of these cats and show you what they do on a day-to-day basis, the membership would be just appalled. That's right. It would be just appalled. So I'm going to leave you with that. Check out this New York or the Washington Post article, why the United Auto Workers ships jobs abroad is because they are in cahoots with Mark Fields and all the other CEOs of these big 3 auto companies, Chrysler, GM. They're in cahoots and they want to ship these jobs out. These guys right here are getting tenure. These guys right here are basically in the union forever. There's no term limits. There's a term limit for this guy, but these guys right here, there's no term limits for. And, these guys are just, they're siphoning money out of the membership's pocket, and they don't give the membership anything. Ask yourself why you're on the line for $16 an hour, okay? $16.50 or $12 or $13 an hour, whichever plant you may work in. If you're in a Ford plant, you're making, I think, you're making 28 something an hour, 32 now. So those people that have been hired 2 years ago as temp or part-time employees, ask yourself why you're only making $16 an hour alongside the guy that's making $32 an hour. In my opinion, I always thought that, since the consumers are paying an awful lot for these vehicles, why don't we pay a percentage per unit to the employee that's building these vehicles instead of an hourly wage? Pay a per unit cost to the employee, and then this way they can walk out of work each week with a lot of money in their pocket. Let me give you an example. The parts that I make every day, they're $2,000. They go out and they're put in an F-150, and they're about $2,000. Now, if you paid an employee $1 per part, and we're making 700 pieces a night, and Ford is paying us $2,000 a part for that unit, why are we not paying the employee on a per part basis instead of an hourly wage? An hourly wage is the biggest scam in this country. Let me just say that again. The hourly wage, I don't care what job you're working, the hourly model business model is the biggest scam that has ever been put on a human in this country to survive, to pay bills, to do whatever. Imagine if you were paid $1 a part and you made 700 pieces a night. That's $700 a night you would bring home, minus taxes. You'd be able to pay your houses off, you'd be able to buy a nice car, you'd be able to put your kids through school, you'd be able to pay your bills, you'd be able to live and survive. But no, it's an hourly wage, and this is what this country is built on, an hourly wage. And it's a big scam. The hourly wage is a big scam. So, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys, for those people that are in the UAW, I hope you vote no. Always vote no. Don't let them ratify shit. Okay? And certainly don't pay membership dues if they're not going to get you anything. I know some of you out there are working in like ACH and some other plants out there. I used to work in those plants as well. And, they don't want to get nothing for those people. They just want to pay them $12, $13 an hour, and that's it. They don't want to get anything for those people. They may get them, they may get them $100 or something at the end of the year, a Christmas bonus, $100, big deal. While the UAW, while we, us workers at the Ford plant, actually we'll be getting probably about $1,500. While you guys out there are only going to get $100. So, I don't think that's fair, and I don't look for just myself. I look for the whole membership. If I could, I would want to be the UAW CEO, because these people right here would be out on their ass. I'd bring new people in, and we run that company like it's supposed to be ran. Okay, a profitable business for us all. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace.